It's a place where I love to be. Look in a book, here's a story for you. Who makes stories when the day is through? Who makes stories when the day is through? Story makers, working through the night till the rising sun. Story makers, stories are fabulous, stories are fun.
Blake Wordsworth.
Jelly and Jackson,
working through the night till the rising sun. Story makers, stories are fabulous, stories are fun. Come and be a story maker.
Oh, look at the time. Time to go home now. All right. Good. Had a nice day.
Story makers. Story makers. Story makers.
It's midnight in the library. Hello.
time for all story makers to come out. Are you ready?
Sun is down, the stars are bright. Story makers come out at night. Hello, story makers. I'm Blake Wordsworth, with a magical hat and a nose for a story.
Oh, just look at all the shapes, Jackson.
Yes. Oh, hello. It's Shapes Week in the library, and the children are learning all about shapes.
Yes, and we learnt about them too, didn't we, Jackson?
Yes, and we have learned the Shapes song.
Yeah.
Would you like to hear it?
Yes.
Here it goes.
Yeah.
Join in if you like.
Yes.
Circles are round, squares have four sides, rectangles are like them, only tall or wide. Three sides make a triangle, they all end with a point. Stars have so many, and circles don't have any. Stars have so many, and circles don't have any. Blake! Hello, Blake.
Hey, guys.
What are those?
What? They're cardboard boxes, Jackson. I thought we could use them to make things.
Oh, what sort of thing?
Well, how about if we use this box to make an astronaut's helmet, then you can pretend to be a spaceman.
Oh, yes, I would love to be a spaceman, and I can do a really good spaceman's voice, too. Spaceman Jackson to Jelly, over!
Well, the first thing is to see if it fits.
Spaceman Jackson to Jelly! Spaceman Jackson to Jelly!
Jelly to Spaceman Jackson.
Yes.
Would you mind keeping still, yeah? So Blake can put your helmet on.
Thank you.
Okay, so...
How's that feel, Jackson?
Oh, that feels nice. Oh, I'm going to be able to see all the stars and the planets. I'm floating off into space. I feel all floaty.
But I think it needs something else.
Yes.
Do you?
Me too, Blake. Yeah, I think it needs buttons and tubes and things.
Ah, that's what's missing. I tell you what,
What?
why don't you two make a story while I finish this off?
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
What should we use?
How about this? Do you know what shape it is?
Well, it has got four sides, and all the sides are the same
Yeah, I know what it is.
What?
It's a square.
That's right, Jelly.
Yes.
There you go, Jackson.
Oh, thank you. Spaceman Jackson to Jelly, I think we should make a square story with a square shape. Okay.
Okay, Spaceman Jackson.
Let's go.
Come on.
I put the square shape into the story machine. And now we can imagine a story with some square shapes in it.
Will you help us imagine too? Ready?
Imagine, imagine, imagine a story. Here it comes, Jelly.
What you going to do? Oh,
It's a
playbook.
And it's called Pottery.
At the bottom of my garden is a special place. It's where my mum makes all sorts of things using clay. Today we're going to help. 2 big lumps of clay. We bash and crash and squelch and squash until the clay is a little bit flat. Then we roll, rolling pins backwards and forwards, like pastry for a pie or icing on a cake. Make sure it's flat with no lumps and bumps. Now for the cutter. Careful, Mum, it's quite sharp. Tap it down. What shape does it make? A square. Tap, tap, tap. 1, 2, 3. What shape will it be? Another square. Now for some sausages, but not for our tea. These are clay sausages for you and me. The sausages stick the squares together. We're making a little house with walls and a floor. Squishing and prodding. Squashing and smoothing. The clay feels cold and slimy on our fingers. There's no roof on our house, but we do need some windows and doors. Silky smooth clay, wet and slimy, cold and grey. Time for some painting. Sunshiny yellow, we think. Like the sun in the sky, with wiggly rays golden and bright. Now it's ready to be baked in a special oven called a kiln. Our clay house will slowly dry and the paint will go shiny. A glistening, glossy yellow. We've made a house for a candle. There are lots in our garden, flickering and burning bright, warm and glowing on a chilly night.
Wow.
Oh, that was a lovely house with square shapes in it, wasn't it, Jelly?
Yes, it was, Blake. Blake, can I have a cardboard box with a square hole in it? So I can make a jellyvision.
A jellyvision? Ah, a jellyvision, of course. You know, I've seen lots of televisions on my travels, but I've never seen a jellyvision before. Okay, 1 box for my green dream.
Oh, yeah.
How does that fit?
Perfect.
And now all we need is an on button. Ah, this should do it. 1 bottle top on button.
Hello, Blake. Have you seen Jelly?
Oh, no, Spaceman Jackson. You mean Jelly, star of Jellyvision.
Blake, you have to switch me on. Okay?
Oh.
Jellyvision, Jellyvision, come and watch my Jellyvision.
Oh, that's what a jellyvision is. It's like a television, but with a jelly in it.
Yes. Today, this is the news. The children in the library were learning about shapes. Circles and squares and pointy triangles. And I learned about them too. And Jackson, over there, he was a floaty spaceman.
Yes, I was.
And we made a playbook with squares in it. And that's all the news. Thank you very much.
Very
Good, Jelly.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot something else, Blake.
What?
And now it is time to make another story. There.
But what shall we use over?
What did you say, Jackson?
Oh, but what shall we use?
Oh, well, how about this hole?
Oh, but that doesn't look much like a hole to me.
Well, I did cut this bit out of the box to make a hole for Jelly to look through.
Oh, yes. So it might make a story with a hole in it. To the story machine!
Okay.
Oh, sorry, Jelly.
One hole for the story machine.
I don't think it looks like a hole. I think it still looks like a piece of cardboard.
Well, then you'll have to imagine the hole that was left once I'd cut this bit out.
Oh, okay. Will you help us? Over!
Imagine, imagine, imagine a story.
What's it going to be?
It's a Kevin the Spaceman story.
Newsflash! Newsflash! It's the Kevin the Spaceman story.
And it's called Planet Building Blocks.
Kevin and Spanner in space to explore, seeking out planets never heard of before. Kevin and Spanner had landed on a very colourful planet. It was covered in lots of building blocks. "We've never landed on a building blocks planet before," said Kevin. Spanner was enjoying himself, sliding all over the place. "Careful, Spanner," warned Kevin. But Spanner wasn't listening and started sliding really fast towards a big square hole in the surface. "Watch out, Spanner!" cried Kevin. But it was too late. Spanner couldn't stop. He slid and slipped and span over the edge and disappeared into the hole, howling as he went. Kevin ran over and carefully peered down into the hole. Oh no! Spanner was at the bottom of the square hole. He'd had a soft landing and wasn't hurt, but it was too far to climb out and too deep for Kevin to reach. Whined Spanner. Just then, there was a magical shower of silver dust in front of Kevin, and a building block appeared near the hole. Then another, and another. Kevin noticed that some of the blocks on the towers around him were vanishing and popping up before him. Kevin watched as the blocks arranged themselves on top of each other. First, a pair of legs, and then a body, then a pair of long arms, and finally a head.
Hello, I'm Boris, the blockman said. Can I help you at all?
"Hello," said Kevin. "My dog Spanner has fallen into this hole."
No problem,
said Boris, and waved his strange block arm. A large building block appeared by the hole.
Help me lower this into the hole, please.
"Right, will do," said Kevin. Kevin and Boris heaved the block into the hole. "Mind out, Spanner," called Kevin. The block tumbled down next to Spanner. Spanner woofed with joy and jumped onto the block and was able to leap easily out of the hole. Spanner barked and gave Boris a friendly lick. He'd had quite enough of sliding and falling into holes for one day.
It was kind of Boris to help Spanner out of the hole.
Yes, it was. And it would be very kind of you, Jackson, to help me choose one of the children's shape pictures for the story machine.
Oh, right, okay. I like that rectangular horse the best.
Oh, well, I think, though, that princess is much prettier.
No, the horse is nicer, Jelly.
Actually, I think
the horse.
Hey, guys. What are you arguing about?
Well, we're just trying to decide which one of these shape pictures to put in the story machine.
Blake, you could choose a picture to put in the story machine.
Oh, well, thank you. Let's see.
That one.
That one.
Yeah.
A king and queen picture for the story machine.
Yes.
One king and queen for the story machine. Are you ready to use your imagination? Imagine a story. What's it gonna be? It's It's a blue cow story. And it's called Blue Cow and the Board Game.
In a field not far away is a herd of cows grazing quietly. One of the cows is most unusual. Blue Cow wonders about the big world beyond her field. One day, Blue Cow was looking at the house near her field and noticed that the window was square. I wonder what it would be like to go somewhere full of squares. She's off again, said the other cows. So Blue Cow caught the bus that stops beside her field. I'd like a ticket to a place where there are lots of squares, please. There you go, madam. Hold very tight. And they set off for a board game. And then they arrived. Blue Cow was surrounded by lots of little people. On one side, they all wore white clothes, and on the other, they wore black. They were all standing on black and white squares. A man walked up to Blue Cow, stepping carefully from square to square. He had white robes and a huge white crown on his head.
Excuse me, you haven't by any chance seen the White Queen, have you?
No, I haven't, said Blue Cow. I'm Blue Cow.
Oh dear, I'm the White King and I seem to have lost my queen.
We can't start our game without the White Queen,
said one of the black pieces who had a castle-shaped head. Maybe I could be the White Queen for a bit, suggested Blue Cow.
Well, I don't know,
said the White King.
You're blue.
Get her to put on the white crown,
squeaked one of the smaller pieces. So Blue Cow put on the white crown and they started the game. What are we playing? asked Blue Cow as the pieces started to move.
It's a game called chess. Don't worry, I'll tell you what to do,
said the king. Blue Cow moved all over the board. Sometimes she even knocked some of the black pieces out of the game. Oh, this is fun, said Blue Cow.
Yoo-hoo, I'm back,
shrilled a voice. It was the White Queen.
Well then, where have you been?
asked the king.
Blue Cow here had to stand in for you.
Sorry,
said the White Queen.
And thank you, Blue Cow.
Oh, you're welcome, Your Majesty. You'll never guess where I've been. Where have you been? I've been to a place covered in squares and played chess. Everyone knows that cows can't play chess, but we know they can, don't we?
There are lots of squares on a chessboard, aren't there?
Yes, black and white ones.
But look, guys, it's getting light. The sun is rising. We'd better get our skates on.
Skates on?
Yes, the children will be coming to the library soon.
Dawn is upon us. The morning is nigh. We've made our stories, and we bid you goodbye.
Story makers, working through the night till the rising sun. Story makers.
Goodbye for now.
Thanks for helping us. Goodbye.
See you next time, story makers. And remember, imagine